Snow Lion by David McPhail. Lion lived in the jungle. It was hot in the jungle, too hot for Lion. It was too hot to chase zebras. It was too hot to tumble in the grass. It was too hot to do anything but lie in the shade and pant. Lion was doing just that when his friend Elephant stopped by. "It's hot," said Elephant. Lion was too hot to talk. He just nodded his head ever so slightly. Elephant could see that Lion wanted to be left alone, so he went away. Soon after, Mrs. Baboon came along with her children. They climbed all over Lion. They tugged at his mane. They pulled his whiskers. "Aren't they darling?" said Mrs. Baboon. "They just love to play." But Lion was in no mood to play. He just growled, a low, rumbling growl. That startled Mrs. Baboon. "Come along, children," she called. "I don't think Mr. Lion wants to play today." Lion closed his eyes and tried to sleep, but it was even too hot for that. Suddenly, Lion jumped up. "I know," he said. "I'll go away. It must be cool somewhere." So he packed his toothbrush and comb and slowly left the jungle. Lion walked and walked. When the sun went down, the jungle was far behind him. It was dark and cool in the hills. Lion wasn't hot anymore, but he was so tired. He lay down and he fell asleep. When Lion woke up, he was shivering with cold. All around him was a soft white blanket. Lion could only see the tip of his tail. Lion stood and shook himself. He scooped up a pawful of the soft white stuff. He smelled it. It had no smell. He tasted it. It had no taste. Lion walked a few steps. His footsteps followed him. Then he began to run. He tried to stop, but he slipped and went sliding. Lion landed with a pump. "What fun!" he shouted. "Yippee!" Then Lion had an idea. He would take some of the lovely, cool softness back home to share with his friends. "They will love it," roared Lion. So he filled his suitcase with fluff and headed down to the jungle. As soon as he got back, Lion saw Elephant and Mrs. Baboon. "Look what I have," he called to them. "What is it?" they asked. "You'll see," Lion said proudly. A crowd of animals gathered round. Lion opened his suitcase and turned it upside down, but all that fell out was a comb, a toothbrush, and some water. That made a little puddle on the hot jungle ground. Lion looked into the suitcase. "Well, it was filled with cold, fluffy stuff," he said. "I found it in the hills." "Oh, of course you did," said the animals, shaking their heads and walking away. Lion was puzzled what had happened to his treasure. He wished he had some now to put on his head, for he felt hotter than ever. Lion spent the rest of the day thinking about the fluffy stuff. Finally, he decided to go back to the hills for more. This time he would put a lock on his suitcase so the fluffy stuff wouldn't get out. It took Lion all day and all night to go to the hills and come back. When he returned, Lion called to the animals again. "Gather round, friends," he shouted. "This time you will see the cold, white, fluffy stuff." He unlocked the suitcase and turned it upside down. Only water splashed out. The animals just shook their heads sadly. "Poor Lion," they said. "The heat has finally gotten to him." Lion was very unhappy. He went away to hide and think. Suddenly the answer came. The cold, white, fluffy stuff can't come to the jungle. It's too hot here. The fluffy stuff can live only where it's cold. Follow me, he cried to the animals. At first the animals would not go. Then Elephant said, we must follow Lion because he's our friend. And besides, a walk would be fun. So off they went, with Lion leading the way. As soon as they reached the hills, they began to feel cooler. Lion ran ahead and made balls of fluffy stuff and threw them at his friends. The animals threw some back at Lion. They slipped and slid and fell and laughed. They pushed giant balls of fluff down the hill. Then, while Elephant played with Lion, the rest of the animals went to work. They made something very, very big. This is for you, Lion, they said. It is to thank you for bringing us to this wonderful place. The animals played some more. Then finally, happy and tired, they went home to the jungle. But on the hottest days, they always came back.